Statement. I have a statement.
In that statement, Superintendent Kim Cox said the school district had hired an environmental consulting firm to review previous test results. But after being denied access to school grounds, Bowcock remained skeptical.
I will tell you that usually in settings or situations like this, when I'm confronted by officials barring access to something, they usually have something to hide.
Lydia Parker and her mother, Heather, disagreed with the school's protocol.
School would not let Bob, who's Erin's assistant, get on to get samples today. You have any reaction to that?
I'm not surprised. School is very hidey about everything.
Why do you think that is?
Well, if they're not going to let them get a couple samples, they should know that it makes them look like they're trying to hide something.
I would hope that nobody's trying to hide anything here. We just, like I said, we just want our girls to get better.
After taking some water samples at nearby residences, Bowcock headed to the derailment site, where in 1970 over 30,000 gallons of the toxic solvent TCE spilled after a train went off the tracks. Bowcock said he was surprised to find an untended cleanup site. Some of the storage drums were leaking and corroded.
But what they've done is they've left their 55-gallon drums of the soil. When they drilled the monitoring wells, the contaminated soil came up. It goes in a 55-gallon drum, and it should go to a hazardous waste landfill. It's so hazardous that they had to put this berm in to protect the stuff from spilling back out. You have a sign like that, and 55-gallon drums rotting away, leaking material out into the environment. Right now, draw your own conclusion.
These families, Dr. Drew, are not going to give up until they feel they have the answers that their kids deserve.
Jim, I think, you know, it's the families, then the instinct of some of the mothers that there's something more going on here is what caused me to pursue this. I didn't know I was going to run into Erin Brockovich along the way. My question is, are we able to keep emotions low enough? We're not getting panicky about things? Is everyone going about this in a systematic way so we can find some real answers?
Yeah, I don't think anybody here is panicking at all, but I think that they're
Good.
just not getting the answers that they feel, you know, they want. We've spoken with town officials here. We haven't been able to get in touch yet with the mayor or the town supervisor, but Kathy Hochul, she's the congresswoman that represents this district. She says she's now involved in this. She's contacted the CDC and the EPA. She wants to be sure everybody here gets as much information as they can. And the EPA gave us a statement today. They say that that Superfund site they do not believe is part of this illness, but they told us there's a second Superfund site about 10 miles away from here. They also don't believe that this is impacted, but these Superfund sites, Dr. Drew, I don't have to tell you, it's very concerning to have them so close to these communities here.
Well, Jim, yes, thank you. And if families are concerned, they should listen to this program tonight because Erin and Bob are here to break it down. And Erin keeps telling me this is a big deal. This is something unlike anything either she nor Bob has ever seen in their career. Tell me why.
Well, for some of the reasons. I mean, first of all, for a couple of factors. I mean, it took agencies so long to respond to a spill.
25 years.
25 years.
So it was there leaching into the soil for 25 years.
Absolutely.
There's documentations of wells being contaminated during that time. People are getting jugs of water sent to them so they don't drink the well water by the railroad company.
Absolutely.
And then when they finally do respond, Bob, you say the site itself has been rendered into a toxic dump.
Oh, absolutely. They've gone in and excavated some of the material to do their testing, put it in 55-gallon drums, and left them there to rot and just go right back into the environment.
So what is your sense of this? I mean, to you, again, you keep saying this is unlike anything you've seen before. None of us have ever done this sort of work. What makes this so extraordinary?
Well, one, the concentration amount. I mean, we've done this for 21 years, and to see an agency report, a federal agency report, that discloses in the bedrock the levels of TCE are at 550 parts per million. Neither he nor I, in our 21-plus years of experience, has ever seen a Dean Apple where they've actually been able to show those concentrations. To give you a comparison, they set a standard for TCE in drinking water at 0.5 parts per billion.
0.5 parts per. So this is thousands of times more than they should. And then, Bob, you said not only that's what's just in the bedrock, your concern is that it's being concentrated somewhere, and I guess we're speculating, and this is what I want to build throughout the show tonight, is trying to connect these dots for my viewers. Somewhere this got concentrated, and maybe that somewhere is a place all these girls had congregated at one time or passed through. Is that what you're looking at now?
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking at a myriad of environmental concerns. This one's just standing out like a sore thumb.
The toxic dump.
The toxic dump and the derailment site. The derailment site is actually where the toxic dump is. What concerns us the most is that the care that's been given to the cleanup of this has actually exacerbated or made the problem worse. You hear Erin talk about 1997 was when they discovered the 550 parts per million in the bedrock. 1997. This spill occurred in 1970. And in 1997, they discovered 550 parts per billion in the bedrock. Million.
And they didn't do much.
And they haven't done anything.
Haven't done anything.
Actually, they've
Why
done
isn't
a little
the
worse.
EPA saying, hey, we're looking into this? They seem to be sort of self-satisfied. Like, we know it's there, everything's fine. Isn't that sort of the response we got? Jim, that was the response you got from them, was it not? I'm not sure Jim's hearing me out there. But let's keep going down the road I was going with you, which is my concern is this. You're also concerned about how the water table is pushing this chemical around, or these chemicals, right?
It's being pushed and pulled.
Okay.
Yes.
And so isn't that the big issue here, that this might be pushed into areas where it's getting concentrated, like apparently there's a limestone quarry nearby, right?
Correct.
There's a creek nearby where there's
Correct.
been some dumping.
There was a big hurricane up there that can disrupt the water
There was concern
system.
about
You have a phenomenon where the water rises and gets into the bedrock and pushes it out.
And you also mentioned something about the pumping of the gas under the school. There's a natural gas pump there that might be concentrating these same chemicals, right?
It wouldn't concentrate it. What it would do is it would pull
draw
the higher concentrations would be drawn to the school site.
Okay, so are we saying that, I'm trying to add the score up here, summarize it for me, Erin, if you could, that this is an extraordinary situation. Bob, the dump site is unlike anything you've ever seen, where a remediation site has become its own toxic spill.
Yes.
Yes. There's concern about the bedrock 25 years after the initial spill. There's concern that concentration never got pumped out or remediated or whatever you have to do, and so it's now been flying around, flowing around underground there and being pushed, and what we need to now figure out is where it's concentrating and find out if the girls have been exposed to one of these. And find those. One last thing I got to get to you in this segment. My understanding is you're getting inundated with emails from people who have lived in this vicinity with similar medical problems.
Yes, I can share some of them.
Please, go right ahead.
I won't share names, but I can't tell you how much.
How many cases do you think you've heard about?
A lot.
Hundreds? Dozens? Hundreds?
Well,
1,000.
I can tell you I've gotten thousands. And I have not had a chance to get through all the information. But very quickly, just to share with you what people are reporting to me from the area. They are reporting that they grew up in that area and they've seen and they know of dumping. They're reporting as adults now that as children they were told not to drink the water in or around the ball field. I have people reporting to me who grew up in the area whose sons have tics, who were born with rare birth defects. I have children who grew up in the area who are reporting to me they had bone cancer at the age of 10. I have children who grew up in the area who are reporting to me as young adults in their early 20s that they've been diagnosed with acute lymphatic leukemia. I'm getting reports from people who still live there on Maple Avenue that there's 8 known families with very rare cancers. Moving on to Erie Street, there's more cases of cancer being reported. I have people reporting to me that their 2.5-year-olds have tick-like syndromes.
I'm going to stop you because we can't substantiate any of this, but we get the idea.
Right.
We get the idea.
Understand, and these are all reports that we are clear substantiating as well. But I want something that people to understand. For 21 years that I've been doing this, these people who come from these areas, they're the first not to panic. They want answers, and they are reporting information to me that can help us get answers for these 12 girls, for them, and for the community as a whole. These people have a lot better things to do in their life than sit around and make up these symptoms that can be clearly substantiated and send them to me. So what it's telling us is that, yes, the 12 girls are exhibiting problems, but yet many other people
It may be the tip of the
are
iceberg.
as well.